And I'm always proud to be here at Ducks Magic. You know, every year I tell people I'm going to Ducks Magic, and they look at me and they say, "What's so magic about ducks?" And I say, "I don't know, I'm going to go and find out." Anyway, so I run a studio called Schell out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We've got about 60, 65 people. Most of us are in Pittsburgh. We also have a studio in Austin. So I'm going to start off by talking about some of the recent Schell Games projects that we've been doing. One of the things, in terms of what we focus on, we're very focused on the kind of areas of growth for online gaming. And for us, we think branded content is a growth area online. Right now, there's not a lot of brands. More brands are going to come, and adapting them well is a challenge. 3D browser games, we think, are going to be something that's going to get bigger and bigger. We're kind of placing bets on Unity right now, but it could go other ways too. I say multi-platform gaming here, but I should really say multi-platform connected gaming or connected multi-platform gaming. The idea of a single database in the back end where you have game experiences that connect from multiple different directions, so that you have a continuous gaming interface, whether you're using your tablet or your phone or your console or an interactive toy or whatever. Kids and families are going to continue to be a growth area online, and connecting to real life is something I think continues to grow. So an example of an app we put out this year is on the iPhone. We worked with a company called StereoFin, and we did this kind of cool thing. It's sort of this Name That Tune game. iTunes has this rule that people don't realize. You're allowed to make your own iTunes store if you want to, as long as when you sell the songs, Apple gets a cut. So we thought, well, what if we made our store, but our store was a game? And what you're allowed to do is use like the minute-long song samples that iTunes has. And so we made a Name That Tune game out of it called Songs and Friends, which is a free app that's on there. And it's going to connect to a Facebook game that's going to be coming out towards the end of this year. So they'll, like I was talking about connected multi-platform, the two games will have a connected economy, the Facebook game and this game. And this is definitely not specifically a kids app, but it is kind of an all ages app, and it's fun to sort of see people build bridges musically that way. We've always done work with theme parks, and we had a nice installation we did this year for SeaWorld in San Diego. They're very passionate about education and stewardship of the environment. And they did a new thing all about sea turtles. It's a magnificent new installation that they have there. I'm going to show some video of the installation. You can see it's kind of crowded, and then I'll show you the game that we made. So the idea is this is a big exhibit of real sea turtles that you go through and you get to learn about the life cycle of the sea turtle. And at the end, we made this game where you actually get to be a sea turtle. And what happens is everybody gets a little. You'll see a family of 4 stands in front of a screen. You hold up this plastic sea turtle that has an accelerometer, and you actually steer it through the environment. So I'll show you that here. So you can see the actual exhibits back there, the actual turtles behind the glass, and then you kind of loop around here, and along with it we have these kind of screens, which are sort of set into the wall here, just like the tanks are. And then I think we'll come in on what you actually see on the screens. So it's a 4-player game, and each player holds like a physical plastic turtle. Can you get the volume up? Is that possible? Maybe not possible.
Yes.
I haven't. Yeah. So the idea is, you're going to be a turtle migrating across the ocean. You got to watch out for the different dangers. And part of what we're trying to kind of sneak in various kinds of teaching and learning. So you have 4 different types of turtles, and they have 4 different kinds of food. And you can see how smoothly and fun the motion is. That's from holding and actually, you actually use it as accelerometer turtle.
This is Unity, Jesse?
How the family steers. We actually use Panda 3D for this because Panda it's like Unity, but it's free. But we've been switching over to use more and more Unity lately.
Cool. Are you ready? Let's go.
So I'll just show a little more of this just because it's pretty. So we're trying to show like the journey across the ocean, because the turtles do make this amazing migration. And part of what we try to show is the notion that these 4 turtle species, they don't really compete because they all kind of have different diets and things. So they sort of coexist in a peaceful way. And the way it works is the more food that you eat as you travel and the more hazards you avoid, the more eggs you'll lay when you get to California. And we opened that in SeaWorld San Diego in June. It's been very popular. So that's one. We've been doing more and more interactive toy stuff. We did this Toy Story Mania plug-and-play thing with Jakks Pacific last year that, we were excited. Time Magazine called it a top 10 toy of the year. Whatever Time Magazine knows about that, I don't know. But it was fun to work on that. And one thing we did that was unusual was we used Gretavision 3D, which is great because it looks like a regular image to everybody else, but when you wear the 3D glasses, it looks like 3D. But you can only use it with certain types of games, and this was one of them. So that was fun to do. And Mechatars, which, Warren's made clear that he's not a big fan of, well, we've been working on them for a while, and we've been actually pretty excited about it, and we've actually been getting good responses from kids. We've been really happy about that. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Mechatars and what we're doing, where we're going, and why it's interesting and why it's hard. Here's the TV commercial, which of course is designed to sum up a lot in a little bit of time. That's just
You can join the initiative to train our best warriors, help us master our powers, and destroy the swarm. I am sending you your Mechatar now.
That's how we deliver them.
No.
Wow.
You must teach him to fight. Battle online and use the powers you obtain to go head-to-head against foes in your dimension. Let's battle. Assault. We won. The Mechatars have landed. You can play now at mechatars.com and save the universe. Each will separately matters not included. Get parents permission before going online.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I?
So the part that we find exciting about it, so for $39 you get your Mechatar toy with the remote, and if nothing else, it's a little remote control guy who you can kind of run around on the floor. And on a good day, it's more than that. So we can see him there. Let me just move this out of the way so you can just see this dude here. So, I mean, simply, he's like, he runs around and, that's what they do. They're remote control robots. But what's cool is they can see each other, so the boys can battle them against each other, and they have like a little hit point thing that we worked out on right on the remote, so they can kind of play a little Pokemon-style battle. But then where it really gets interesting is the fact that you can plug it in to the PC and connect to the online experience. And the online experience, which is a lot of what we focused on, is a Unity-based 3D experience where you can have your robot, you can battle against your friends, but there's this whole ecosystem back and forth between the virtual world and the real world. So you battle against invisible enemies in your living room and against your friends in your living room. When you plug into the PC, it uploads all that to your virtual guy. Your virtual guy goes on all kinds of video game adventures for free, etc., etc. And then when you earn new stuff, you can unlock powers online and download them back into your toy. So one that I thought was really, that was fun was, we just did a Halloween pack of sound effects that you can download into your toy, and I just put one, because normally he makes a very techno sound when he powers up, but I put this little organ sound instead. Oh, let me get the remote going here, so you can hear it. Right, it's just silly, but like it's really fun that the idea that we can have a toy in the living room that's expandable in this way, that you can keep loading new sounds and new powers and new things into it. It's something we've been having a lot of fun kind of experimenting with. And so far the reactions from kids and reviews have been pretty good. So we've got our fingers crossed for this Christmas. Because it's, we're just working with a little independent toy company, Bossa Nova, which is a little robot company of 3 or 4 people in Pittsburgh. And we've been teaming up and we'll see how we do.
Jesse?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to be clear on the feedback I was getting on that, because I didn't look at the online stuff at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, wasn't there a South Africa thing?
That was Tom Dusenberry.
Yeah, do you know anything about that?
No.
There was also Extractors by Mattel 2 years ago that you could do online battling with this offline USB connected product.
But this is completely different.
Yeah.
This is completely different.
Yeah, this is brand new. We just launched these in August. They're brand new. There's 3 of them that are out. And then there's little power packs that plug into them. And,
all right, because, so my slice on it was just giving it to some kids, letting them drive it around. And
just as a driver.
They were going for this.
Yeah, just as a drive-it-around toy, it's a little weak. I mean, I'm like, I don't think, just at $39, I don't think you get your full value as a drive-it-around toy. But as a drive-around toy that can battle other toys, that can battle invisible enemies, that connects to a free online experience, we're feeling pretty good about it.
Okay, good. Thanks.
How does it battle other toys?
They have they communicate through RF. And so that I wish I could say there were physical sensors and they were smacking each other around. It's not like that at all. It's more like a Pokemon battle where they know how many hit points they have, they know what attacks they're doing, and you choose what attacks you have. There's a whole energy management balancing thing that makes it. And then they make a lot of little sound effects and do little animations when they get hit. Oh, look at you, we can have a battle later. You've got Alpha here. All right, oh yeah. That'll be a very special battle. Okay.
So we could try that. I don't know if
yeah, no, we should. I don't want to do it now because I want to keep the time.
tonight, possibly.
Yeah, no, let's do it. Let's do a battle later because they are fun. And one of my favorite things is if you meet somebody on the playground and if you play with them, you know, your toys fight each other, and then you go home and plug in, it immediately does friend invites, right? Because they already know everybody's IDs, so you get a friend invite for the kid that you played with in the real world, which I think is fun. Battle Ball, I just want to show you this. This is an example of unfortunately some dust that we made earlier this year. So this was our attempt to kind of do a Unity Facebook game, and it didn't work out very well. I think we know how to fix it, but can we get the funding to fix it? That's the question. I'll show you a video that kind of, here's the sexy video, and then I'll tell you the non-sexy part. So this is in Facebook using Unity. We work with Mark Cuban, who runs the Dallas Mavericks on this. He approached us about trying to make a cool basketball Facebook game. So we made a lot of customization, and then a lot of cool animations and stuff. And everybody has been kind of happy and sort of dazzled with the animations. For maybe keeping in mind, this is in browser on Facebook. But the bummer about it is, unfortunately, we tried for a thing that has very light interaction, because we thought maybe light interaction would work better, and people have been really bummed out about that. They're like, man, I feel like I'm not playing the game, I feel like I'm just watching the game. So we haven't thought about how to fix that, but we're going to be able to get the budget together in order to do that. It is interesting that we did it on Unity, which meant we could launch it on Facebook, we could launch it on iPhone, we could launch it on Android with like virtually nothing, doing very, very little, like a week's worth of work to port it to each of those platforms. And that was interesting, so that was a good experiment. Trazzle Island is, this one is interesting more for a technical reason. Okay, let me just switch this over here. So this was a game we had originally done as a web game using Adobe Air. And it's a cool puzzle triangle-based game. I was showing some people during the square dance. What are we calling it, Warren?
I think it's an app dance.
The app dance, yeah. So here you got an Android tablet. So what we've done is we took this Adobe Air app and we found that we could port it over to other platforms without too much trouble. And so even though, you know, it's sort of done in Flash, Flash and Adobe Air, we found it wasn't very hard to take it over to tablets. So we've taken it over here to the Android tablet, and we're going to be taking it next over to iOS. So we're going to sort of see how that goes. Let's sort of sidewise there. There you go. Anyway, so this has been a really interesting experiment for us. We teamed up with Dan Gilbert, who was the inventor of the cardboard triazzle puzzles that you may remember from back in the day. And what I was really amazed at is how it was really easy to do this multi-platform thing, where, you know, what was a mouse-based game can also be a touch-based game, and that we found it to be, you know, quite satisfactory. Okay, moving on. Innercube is another game we did. This is a 3D game using Unity, which we're going to try and put up on in a number of places. To save time, I won't show a live demo of that, but it's really a fun game about rotating this cube around and trying to match the squares of the cube onto different colors on the surface. What was more interesting to talk about is how we produced this game. We're always trying to find new ways to get people to be creative at the company. We used to do a thing where once every 3 weeks, people would get a free day. Like, take this day, we called it Lab Day, and do whatever you want. And that was kind of cool, but people had so much else going on that their day would get cut into and they wouldn't do so much. So we tried a new thing. We stopped doing Lab Day for a while, and then at the first week in August, we did Lab Week. We stopped every project in the company. And we said, you've got a week to do whatever you want. And one of the teams busted out a perfectly working prototype of this Intercube game. We thought it was a great prototype, so after that we put 4 or 5 people on it for about 6 weeks, and then we got this game finished in Unity. We're starting the PC, we're going to start taking it to the tablets soon, and maybe XBLA as well. But anyway, so Jam Week, from my point of view, was a big success. This is a crazy one that we haven't done yet, we haven't announced yet, but so you're the first ones to hear about it. So this is Puzzle Clubhouse. It's a new project we're doing. The concept is crowd-funded, crowd-designed games. So we come up with a framework for delivering games. We're doing it on the web at first. And we came up with a bunch of crazy characters, and we had this super efficient animation system, and we came up with this super efficient way of making games so that we can basically make an episode, and an episode consists of 2 minutes of animation and about 20 minutes of gameplay for about $9,000. And the idea is we're going to be launching these episodes on a regular basis. We're actually going to kick this thing off with Kickstarter to kind of get it jump-started. We'll see how that works. That'll be a new one on us to try and make that work. And then the part about this that's really weird, and this is not a not finished website yet, we're still working on it. The concept is there's going to be a thermometer at the top, and we're going to be quite honest about how much money we've collected. We're going to charge somewhere between 80 cents and $1 for each episode. Some episodes will be free, but then there's others that, you know, if you like what's free, you know, you can buy some units and buy some episodes. And we're going to be honest about how much money we collect. And the speed at which we collect money is the speed at which we'll be able to produce episodes, because that's how it really works. And so we're going to be honest about that and see how that works. And the other part of it is we're going to open it up to the community, you know. So, hey, this episode's going to have a lot of ducks in it. You guys want to draw pictures of ducks? And you guys want to vote on which picture of the duck is coolest? And whatever you guys decide, that'll go into the episode.
Just to echo, you're going to meet some kids today at MediaTek. And one of the things that they said, whenever I asked them, what should you say to the people who made this game, they talk a lot about honesty. And that's what they like about the Minecraft idea. They feel like they know this Link guy, and when they pay him $14,
Notch.
it kind of goes right to him to help him build the game. And it's not this whole, you know, and so I think that's a very interesting idea.
We're going to try. It's tough because, I don't know, it's going to be a good experiment.
I don't trust you that all that money goes. I think it's going to be just.
It's going to us to make games. I don't know. I wish if we could.
Is there a way that seriously, a way that you can sort of like I almost wanted to have like a webcam of the collection here, so you could actually.
Or it's the subway performer at the turkey's out.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, again, part of it is we're gonna try and get a lot of community involvement. If there's stuff they're like, you know, hey, can we see this? Can we see that? Sure, you know, we'll show it to you. I mean, it's pretty simple and it's pretty simple and straightforward.
Cool idea.
Yeah, the fundamental idea.
The humble indie bundles really well.
I don't know if they make a ton of money, but they sure get a ton of exposure, right? And so, yeah. Anyway, we're trying to figure that out. Okay, so let me cut over and talk about a few things we've been doing at the Entertainment Technology Center. Oh, no, actually, no, before we do that, I forgot about this one. This is what we're doing with Yale University. The idea is it's a game all about trying to get inner city kids not to catch HIV, which is a very ambitious sort of project that we're not totally sure is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. We're working with this group called Play to Prevent at Yale University. We're making it's a tablet game where we're going to do we're not going to put it out in the store. We're not going to launch it. We're going to do a scientific study for a few years where kids play this game, which is a game all about visualizing your future. It's a game all about visualizing your future, understanding what could compromise your future, learning how to deal with dangerous things that teenagers run into. And we're going to have a bunch of 11 to 14-year-old kids, several hundred 11 to 14-year-old kids do this, and then we're going to monitor their behavior for several years. Because in terms of the spread of HIV, a huge amount of HIV is spread by younger kids because they're ignorant. And if you can just delay sexual activity in teenagers by a couple of years, it can go a huge way towards stopping the spread of HIV. So this is going to be one that hopefully will be some good science here. How in Daniel Tiger's neighborhood? We're very excited about this. The Fred Rogers Company is finally making a new show where they're taking Daniel Tiger, and it's going to be a show aimed at 3-year-olds, all about social and emotional issues, and we're going to be making all the web-based interactive content for it, and hopefully moving into apps and things soon. We're not starting with apps because everything needs to be focused on Title I, and it turns out that iPad is still a little expensive. But we love the show. We're very excited. It's very strong. It's really fun. I was so worried they were going to not take good care of the characters from the neighborhood of make-believe, but they do something wonderful and new. Do people know the story of this thing already? So some people do, some people don't. The part that I love is I thought, man, how could Daniel Tiger host a show? He's the shy one. He's so timid. You know, how can he be the host? Or that you're going to have to change him. Well, it turns out that's not Daniel Tiger. That's Daniel Jr. Daniel grew up and he's a dad now. It all worked out for him. And so Daniel is a character in the show, and he's a grown-up. And so it's sort of like, you know, you come into it as a parent already wanting to cry because it's just so cute. And Daniel Jr. is strong in ways that Daniel Sr. was not when he was a boy. Which, anyway, so we're just thrilled with it. It has such wonderful songs and so many wonderful people working on it. And I'm definitely going to be hitting a lot of you guys up for help because this is the first time we really work with kids this young. And it's one thing, you know, colors and numbers and shapes and animals for 3-year-olds, that's challenging. Social and emotional gaming experiences is a different kind of challenge we're finding. So I'm definitely going to want to hit more people up for help on that. The name of the show is Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. You know, it's going to be, I believe it's in September 2012. So this is not a company, this is not part of Schell Games. Interbots is a company I advise. This is some students who came out of Carnegie Mellon where I teach. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about something cool they're doing. They've been doing all kinds of robots, and recently they've been getting into autism spectrum. And so they have this Pop Chill robot that they're looking at making a custom toy for kids with who are on the autism spectrum disorders, the ASD spectrum. And they have a few apps now. One of them is Touch and Say, which is all about identifying emotions. I think it's good for young kids, and it seems to be good practice for kids on the autism spectrum. And so it's cool because the apps can be independent, but then also they can connect to this little guy. And here's a video of him in action here. I think. There we go.
And I'm really excited to show you one of the new kinds of robot interactions we've been working on. In this video, you can see Popchilla and I playing with our new iPad app, Let's Make Shapes. Normally when you play Let's Make Shapes, there's a small animated version of Popchilla on the screen that guides you through tracing and drawing shapes. But when you link it to the robot, the iPad uses those same interactions to bring the physical Popchilla to life. In this mode, Popchilla is helping me draw a mystery picture. He prompts me with what shape to draw and shows me where it should go. And as you can see, when I interact with the iPad, he responds to my actions. As I trace the shapes, he detects that I made the right one and moves on to the next step in the picture. Pretty sure we're drawing a house here. What's particularly cool about all this is that the information that's used to bring Popchilla to life comes from the iPad. We're streaming audio and animation from the iPad directly to the robot. Since none of these animations are pre-programmed on the robot, every new iPad or iPhone or PC application we make can have unique interactions and responses from the robotic character. That's it. Thank you for watching and keep following our blog for more updates. Oh, and Let's Make Shapes is available in the iPad store right now. Check it out.
So Interbot switched to kind of focusing on kids with autism is a little bit new for them, and they are on the lookout for people who have expertise. So if anyone here does have a special expertise with kids with autism and how they relate to apps, they would be very welcome. They'd be very interested in talking to you about it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the ETC projects. Real quick, this is a quick thing I did. I like predicting the future, and I get tired of people making future predictions that just kind of get washed away and never find out how they turned out. So I made a YouTube channel called Crystal Ball Society. So if you go to crystalballsociety.com, I just collect videos where people say, I think by this date this will happen. And so here's an example of a guy saying he believes mobile phones are going to replace game consoles by 2021. Well, YouTube doesn't go away, so in 2021 we'll check in and kind of see whether his prediction was right. I've heard a lot of mouthing off here about future topics today, so if you're serious or not just fooling around, shoot a little video with your phone and send it to me. I'll put it right up on the site. And you can tell everyone, see, in 2017, see, look, I was so right. Anyway, so that's just a quick thing I did. A project, okay, I'm almost out of time, so I'm just going to skip some stuff. We've done this thing in Chicago called UMedia, this UMedia Center, which was all about using libraries to teach digital art to kids. And that had been very successful. And on the heels of that, I pitched a thing in Pittsburgh to the Children's Museum, and I never thought they were going to take me seriously. And it was this concept that ended up being this thing called the Make Shop. And it's just gone over great. We've been thrilled to death. It's been this big installation there. I mean, I love this little model they put together because, man, I made a tiny pitch and they just took it and ran with it, did all these wonderful things. Here, makers engage in the process of design. This means imagining possibilities, sharing ideas, taking risks, tinkering, altering, making mistakes, and trying again, learning by doing. There's lots of museums that have a thing where, okay, come on kids, we're going to make a flute out of a paper towel tube today, and everybody do what I say, and you just do what you're told. The rule at the Make Shop is no child is admitted without an idea. And then the children are given real tools in order to make them and guidance. So we have sewing machines, we have carpentry, we have soldering irons, right? Here's a kid, it's really cool seeing 5-year-olds kind of just going to town with the soldering iron. There's me and my daughter are like working on a little craft project there. Anyway, we've been thrilled at how that thing has gone over. I've just been very excited. And then the last thing, I think it's the last thing I was going to talk about. Are people familiar with the 826 writing centers? I know some people are, but more people in this room should be aware of it. So Dave Eggers, he wrote a novel, it was very successful, and he settled in millions of dollars and realized he could make all his dreams come true. And he said, you know, I've always wanted to make a writing center, nonprofit writing center for kids. So he opened one up in San Francisco, 826 Valencia. And, well, he was going to open it up, and the zoning council said, no, you've got a storefront. If you have a storefront, you must have a store. So they were going to go somewhere else. And then they said, you know what? Let's just put a stupid storefront no one will care about. So they made a tiny storefront that sold supplies for pirates. And then they put the tutoring center in the back. And they figured nobody would come. But all these people started coming. Everybody wanted to buy supplies for pirates. And they said, this is a good way to fund the tutoring center. So that was very successful. So then they started opening up all over the country. So in New York, you can go to the Brooklyn Superhero Supply store, which has a writing center in the back. In LA, you can go to the Echo Park Time Travel Mart. If you're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, you can go to Liberty Street Robot Supply and Repair.
That's awesome.
In Seattle, you can go to the Greenwood Space Travel Supply Company, rocket parking on the roof. And see that's in there. And in Chicago, they have the Boring Store, which, don't tell anybody, it's stuff for secret agents. Yeah, okay. The Greater Boston Bigfoot Research Institute has opened up. And Washington, D.C. just last year got the Museum of Unnatural History. And so one of the things I've been working on is we're hoping to bring to Pittsburgh Igor's Mad Science Supply. You'll never say no, master, again. Right? Okay, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
That's awesome.